everybody, I'm Keychain. This video is for the first content update for Diablo Immortal, and this is for July 2022. Um, Overall, patch is a little disappointing, but I'm still going to cover it. We're going to go over their post, kind of review what they've said, and then we'll go look at the actual Battle Pass and see what we think about that. One thing that is actually exciting about the update is they've got this Hungering Moon weekend event coming. So in this Hungering Moon weekend event, it starts on July 15th, so that's about a week away. And basically, it doesn't give a ton of details, but you're going to collect moon silvers by fulfilling their demands. So I don't know if that's going to be like daily quests or what it's going to be. After you've gotten 7 blessings, you get enough goodwill to get a random reward. So hopefully the loot, table for that is decent. And then if you give them enough blessings, you can win their favor. Now I don't know. It's kind of cryptic, and I'm hoping that maybe next week, sometime before the event actually starts, that they give us some more information and show us like, what we can actually earn. I've seen a previous event from the beta where legendary crests were in the store, so that would be amazing. As well as keys and random legendary gem and normal gems, that normal type stuff. But I would like to be able to earn some extra of that. I think everybody else here would too. So that's coming up. One of the things here, they just wanted to, say they wanted to thank us for playing and let us know that the class change and a more major content patch is coming later, later this month. Now, I don't know if that means if they're doing another update to add the content for the event we just talked about, and it'll be in a week, or if the major update will be after that's over, or if it'll be like the end of the month. It's kind of cryptic again, so we'll see how that goes. Getting into balance changes. Everyone, when they first see this, they're like, the wizard and the monk got buffed. Oh, they needed it. And honestly, it's skills, at least for the wizard, like, this is the base skill, this arcane wind. So they increase the base skill damage. I don't know how many people actually use the base skill because you have to charge it up and then use it. And then I'm not familiar with this Sildra's Fang version. It increased the range, increased the damage, but I don't use either one of those, and I don't know how well used they are. Lightning Nova is used, but and it says also legendary affixes. So Lightning Nova did get buffed. I wonder if it was underused. I have seen some people use it, and I did have fun when I used Lightning Nova, but is it enough to make it, usable over another skill? Because it doesn't fit into my build at all. Maybe it fits into some of the PvP builds, specifically the Battle Mage build from Lexu, but I'm gonna have to try this out. Monk, I know that monks do use Exploding Palm, so this is actually good for them. I don't know if these versions are the ones they use, but I know that some monks do use Exploding Palm to blow stuff up, so this is nice. But it's the non-explosion damage that's getting buffed, so I also don't know how much of a true buff that is. But they also changed, at least on the base ability and this specific legendary version, they changed it from a 90-degree angle to a rectangle. So looks like it, increased, based on what I see here, it increased how wide it is, but it's hitting more in kind of a straight line rectangle versus like a wide angle 90-degree attack. And that's it for the balance. Like, there was just those two things. It seems kind of minor. Getting into bug fixes, there are some things in here that make you think and be like, I kind of thought some fishy stuff was going on, but now that I can confirm in the patch notes that they fixed it, I know for sure. And we'll talk specifically about what I thought was happening. So first here, they reduced or adjust the monster spawn logic in Library of Zoltan Kuhl and Mount Xavian. So I think this is their first kind of poke at trying to fix the botting and the spooning, with the immediately second line saying they adjusted the way that the auto-targeting works after a player casts the same skill over a sustained duration, meaning for people who just sit there and spam one ability while they're spooning or botting, these two things are attempting to fix that. They're attempting to change, maybe they've made it so that the spawn points have a wider area spawn and that the spawns won't spawn directly on top of the player, and the auto targeting is going to be jacked up if you're sitting there casting the same ability. I think that they should just work on an anti-botting or hire some mods to like actually look at the bot reports when people send in the reports, but that's just me. So yeah, this developer note basically says common botting and the small rotation of attacks while standing in one place. So they're trying to adjust that. I just don't think they've done enough. And this is a big one here. They updated the ability description for Chip of Stoned Flesh. Now, I don't know how many of you are in on some of the higher end discussions and the testing that has been done by like some of the max roll people before they left. But they tested this and they found that with the previous tooltip, each time you cause an enemy to lose control, that it was only hard crowd controls. They tested that with all of the abilities that people had and figured out that like knockback doesn't count and certain things don't count, but they've changed the tooltip to say basically like total loss of control. So stun and fear versus things like slow and chill and knockback. Knockback is one that it's annoying that it doesn't count because black hole for wizards is knockback. When people are stuck in black hole, they're stuck. They don't have control of their character, with the one exception of they can use a teleport or an ability to get out of that. But like that to me seems like a hard crowd control, but apparently it doesn't qualify. So a Chip of Stone Flesh with the build I use, not very useful. Also, one of the gems that has dropped for me, so it went into other gems instead. I'm not going to ramble too much more about that. Let's get into some of the other things. These are all just kind of random glitches. They fixed an issue where some classes wouldn't play audio. That happens, every once in a while. They fixed an issue that would cause resonance and combat rating to display 0. I remember when that happened, Reddit blew up. Everybody was freaking out for a day, but it's like unequip one piece of gear and put it back on and it fixes it, and then it went away. This one I've seen personally fix an issue that causes doorways to block bosses and other large monsters. That's in one of my Rift videos where they spawned in the dungeon layout. They spawned inside one of the small rooms and they were just stuck there. So I sat on the other side of the doorway and just went to town. And it was on like, I don't know, I was like 300 combat rating above where I should be. So it was really nice because I didn't have to worry about the boss. I just sat there and DPS'd. It was great. But they fixed that because, it was not obviously supposed to be that way. So this one, I've not had it happen to me, but I'm glad that they did this. They fixed an issue that would cause crests to be deducted from a disconnected party member after an Elder Rift was canceled. So basically, like, you have a rift ready to go, they start it, you disconnect, and it takes your rifts away, but then it cancels because you disconnected. And it's like, then you'd have to wait and contact support and try and get your rifts back or have them mailed back to you. So that's good. Fixing an issue with the armory and the warband stash. I don't know about this buff specifically or this bug, but anything with the armory getting fixed is good. Right now, I don't find the armory to be usable because you can't truly utilize it the way that you should. And I think the way they need to change armory to make it usable is make it so that you can assign a specific paragon tree with all of the skills in it and all of the points to an armory tab, and then be able to have a completely different paragon tree on a separate armory tab so that I can have a PvE and a PvP spec without having to not just the skills, but all of the points without having to respec. Because if I respec Gladiator spec and I respec all of my points for that, I can't really go back to my PvE spec because I don't have enough points to bounce back and forth. Like, yeah, I can click the little checkbox and later on it won't be an issue. And we have like 200 paragons. We're going to be in multiple trees anyways. But right now, early game, the armory is not really usable. At least not from my point of view. Falling through the world. Hopefully they fix this in the Battlegrounds because that was the worst place. It happened to me early on in the stream where I got pulled through the map. I dropped. I used unstuck back in the match. And then later in the same match, I got pulled again, and unstuck is on a 10-minute cooldown. So I sat under the map for the rest of the Battleground. I couldn't do a single thing. So that was super frustrating. So I'm glad they're fixing some of that. I don't know about this challenge rift latency thing. I don't find that very important. This one was a big one. Fixed an issue that caused resonance to increase when swapping gems through the stash. I don't have the footage, but I watched it. There's a guy who basically was swapping gems through his stash and like changing the gems out and kind of changing the legendary gems. But every time he did it, his resonance just increased. So he was taking like a 30 resonance gem, swapping it for a 60 resonance gem, and it would increase his resonance by 30. And then he'd swap it again and swap it again. He kept doing that, and it just kept going up until like he normally had like 700 resonance or something, and he boosted himself to like 4,000. And I don't know when that reset, but that was basically something that people were able to use in certain situations to do content that they shouldn't be able to do. So, you know, it was a little bit crazy, but I'm glad they fixed that. Upgrade materials and Dawning Echoes will now be returned to players after destroying the upgraded or awakened gem. That is not something that had happened to me because that's way above me, but I'm glad they fixed it because awakening an item is expensive and you should get that stuff back. Remove the Paragon level requirements for some quests. I'm wondering if they mean story for this. I'm guessing. So they removed some of the story, but that's Paragon level requirements. So I don't know exactly what they had set here, but I'm glad they fixed it. You know, I think a lot of the arbitrary like Paragon and CR requirements need to go, and they need to change kind of how they've approached that. Chests of Glory weren't shared with all party members. Small thing, like Chests of Glory don't really do much. Neither do the heavy ornate chests. Like they're both just kind of like they're supposed to be some cool thing you find in the world, and they both kind of suck. So hopefully they buff those in the future so that they're actually worth, you know, using. Fix an issue that prevented players from using the primary attack after being interrupted. I've experienced this. Super frustrating. So I'm glad they fixed that, and I hope they fixed it in all instances. But like, not being able to use your primary, you're just sitting there like clicking around trying to figure out why you can't attack anything, and you have to wait till like one of your abilities comes off cooldown again to use an ability, then you get your attack back. So it's not like, you know, you didn't have to restart the game or anything, but you'd be like 5-6 seconds without being able to use your primary attack and just standing there. Yeah. Experience globes dropped in a smaller radius after killing a monster. I didn't know that people were annoyed by this. Like, it's a little bit annoying, but it was like, it's just one of those things. Like, the boss dies, the globes explode out, and everybody runs in a circle to go and collect them all. So, you know, I guess now they're going to drop in a smaller radius. But whatever. That's like people being Karens. Like, just deal with it. Like, whatever. But that's my opinion. On the cycle of Strife, this never happened to me when I was a Shadow, but that would be super annoying, where if the Shadow contract would fail immediately upon entering Quest Zone, because some of those you have to like go all the way back to the town, like if you fail. So having it fail immediately with nothing that you've done would be super annoying. The Immortal Overthrow buff will now clear upon entering a Challenge Rift, and I don't know. I didn't get to experience that. Cause the Immortal to knock players out of the arena during Shadow War. Haven't seen that. I haven't seen a lot of these bugs, but they fixed lots of issues with, it looks like, Shadow contracts, the rewards, being stuck on missions. Oh, this is one that I have seen. Fix an issue that would prevent the Corvus expedition from completing. So I am one of the Immortals right now, and first off, Corvus expedition, useless. It's a waste of time. The amount of rewards you get in there, total waste of time. Not even worth doing. So if you're not an Immortal now, or you do, I mean, maybe you like Corvus because you're min-maxing everything, but it's honestly, it's like 20 minutes of your time for like 15 keys. And you don't even get 15 keys if you don't do good. So if you fail any of the missions throughout there, like the trivia, you lose those 5 keys, and it makes your run even less worth it. So it's like, honestly, they need to change Corvus Expedition to make it actually worth doing. Because right now, I've done Corvus Expedition twice. The first time I did it, it bugged out, and we couldn't complete it. The second time I did it, I said, this is not worth the time, so I haven't done it since. But yeah. And then final one, if a dark clan leader has not selected a clan objective, one will automatically be selected. That's good because when I was in a dark clan and I was one of the officers, we didn't even know about setting this at first, and we like finally figured out like that you can set this and there's bonuses and stuff like that. But when it first started, I didn't even know that there was something to set. Out of all the red dots everywhere, there was not one for this, which, you know, that's, you come to rely on the red dots. Okay, into Battlegrounds, and this is where I thought some fishy things were happening, right? So they adjusted the Battleground preparation UI so that players are properly randomized between attack and defense. And this is what I thought was happening. Previously, players could determine if they were attacking or defending based on the UI. And that's why when you were trying to go into a Battleground, so many times it would cancel and then start again and cancel and start again because people would watch their question mark and they would see where it lights up when they click it, or they'd wait like 5 or 6 seconds and then they'd click, and if their question mark wasn't on the right thing, they would cancel out and leave the Battleground. Or if, you know, they'd wait till there's like 14 left and they'd be like, oh, those 2 question marks left are defense, so then they'd cancel, or their offense and they'd cancel, like whatever they want to do. So it was super frustrating, and I'm glad it's gone. Hopefully Battlegrounds, when you get the queue, it'll just go now instead of everybody canceling out all the time. But we were working on figuring that out. So we started trying to figure out where the question mark was, you know, if we're on offense or defense. And we were gathering data points for this because I knew it was a thing. I just didn't know exactly how it worked. But I was going to blow that thing wide open. They fixed it, so, you know, that didn't happen. But, you know, it is what it is. And then this one I never experienced, so fixed an issue where it caused players to be put back into the queue after entering a Battleground. That would be kind of frustrating to be in a Battleground and get another Battleground queue. And then this one I never saw either, but added a mechanism to prevent players from attacking the heart before Phase 3 had begun. So there must have been a way to like phase through or teleport through or get through the gate there rather than having to wait for the statues and opening the ancient heart, which if someone's attacking the ancient heart before they're supposed to be, like, it would take a while before anybody realizes what's happening and like go back there and defend it, and that's super game breaking. So all right, we're almost done, and then we'll go check out the battle pass, and then, you know, you can go on your way. This one, NPCs, they fixed issues that would cause a quest to get stuck. NPCs not interactable after cutscenes, and the unspoken NPC to be invisible to players. I never experienced any of these, but I'm sure it would be very frustrating. UI stuff. Let's see. HUD become invisible after cycles end cutscene. Fix an issue that caused clan information to be bugged during the end of the cycle. They added an exit button in the domain of horror. Fixed an issue that prevented clan invitations. Like, all of these are, I guess, useful things, but again, I never experienced any of these bugs. Blank entries. Oh, I have seen this one where it fills blank entries. I had like 9, and I'm like, why does it say I have 9 quests? And there was just nothing. I did experience this one. UI module cannot be dismissed. Server recommendations Oh, this one's nice. So they added a server recommendations will be based on language selection. So I did see a story on Reddit about a guy got recommended a server and he joined, and most of the server is speaking a different language. And before he like actually tried to get into world stuff and do things, like he was just playing on his own and not paying attention to the chat and stuff. And he's like, now I'm like, I don't remember the full details, but he was like, now I'm like Paragon 30. I've been here for the whole 3 weeks, and nobody speaks my language, and I'm stuck. So I felt bad for that person for sure because depends on regions and things like that. Like, yeah, you might end up in a server where people are speaking a language different than your own, and that's that's a hard place to be because you can't really communicate and be part of like the community when that's happening, or you're forced into a subset of like, hey, we have the only English speaking guild on the server, come join us, and you're like, well, I don't actually like these people, but that's your only choice. And then they fixed an issue preventing players from opening the Battle Pass. Okay, I could see how that's important. Battle Pass has lots of good rewards for the most part. And then they fixed an issue where you might get stuck connecting to BattleNet. And then they fixed an issue that caused a black screen teleporting after upgrading legendary gems. Interesting. And then a camera issue that would occur while fighting LaSalle. So that's all of the bug UI fixes, all that stuff. Like, if you're still with me, thank you. Let's switch over to the Battle Pass and take a look. So the new Battle Pass, the cosmetics look really cool. And I already purchased the empowered one because I'm not a big whale or anything, but I buy the Battle Pass and I buy the Boon of Plenty. And then occasionally I will buy one of the troves, like, or the deals, the bundles, when I have some extra money and I'm having a lot of fun playing this game. I'm gonna spend like, buy one of those $10, $20, $30, whatever bundles. Like, I haven't gone to any of the more expensive ones than I think the $25.99 one, but I do like those bundles. So looking at the free battle pass, you're getting scrap and hilts, like scrap and hilts, right? And I'll cover the empowered at the same time. So we're getting more fervent fangs, and then the cosmetics. If you have the empowered, you're gonna get scoria. For the regular battle pass, you're getting more materials, more hilts, and down here you're getting just regular gems and rare crests. Rare crests and hilts, like most of this is pretty standard stuff. The empowered battle pass, it looks like you get a legendary gem a legendary crest at 10, and you get another legendary offhand for the free battle pass. So you'll get to select one of those, which I think that they should have made this like have a higher chance to be exceptional or something to make it more exciting. Because for most players, this is going to be just like a regular garbage tier legendary drop that you can't use, and you're going to, scrap it. So here, 6 keys down here, that's not a very good bonus. Neither the normal gems, a couple of scoria, a couple of regular gems. An emote, I don't care about this stuff. Like, cool, I guess, but put this next to something else. Give me rare crests and the emote so that I don't feel gypped, because I personally, I don't use emotes and I don't get into that type RP stuff, so, whatever. Hilts up here, or charms up here. So 4 charms, that's an okay thing. Charms system is still terrible, but it is what it is. More just random keys and other things. Scoria. So here at level 20, you get a legendary crest for the free pack. I think they should put more legendary crests in the free tier. It needs to be like every 5 levels you get one. So like for the entire month you get like 8. It needs to change. They need to add more legendary crests into the game for the free players and the low spenders, because it doesn't even make that big of a difference. Half the time you do a legendary 10 crest run and you get junk anyway. So why not give more crests and let them have a chance? Let them try so that they can save up enough crests in a month to do a 10 legendary crest run. Going through, it's just more hilts, more hilts. You get another legendary for the pay pack. More rare crest, scoria, gems, another emote. Here you're getting a mystery reforged stone. I think that they should give more than just one. It should be like 10. Allow the free-to-play players to actually reforge their gear without having to, spend or wait for, the PvP stuff. And then, I mean, going through it, it's all just kind of basic stuff like a low tier legendary gem, charms, hilts, scrap, rare crests, and then the cosmetics. So really the $5 is going to get you the cosmetic, which the cosmetic does look awesome. Okay, I think this looks super cool. But the problem is when you get the new cosmetic, everybody wears it. So I ended up not wearing mine most of the time from last Battle Pass because every single person I saw was wearing it. And I was like, now everybody's a freaking clone of each other. But basically what you're getting for the Battle Pass is the cosmetic. You're getting a couple of guaranteed legendary gems and some extra rare hilts, or rare crests and legendary crests. Like the Scoria, that's okay. It's, you know, it's not much. It's basically like doing an extra LaSalle raid in a month, which it's really a drop in the hat. And then a chance at a good legendary gem and some keys, which isn't game breaking. Some extra normal gems, not game breaking. Like none of this stuff is super game breaking if you don't buy this legendary battle pass, but it is a nice little bonus. And getting 2 legendary crests and a bunch of rare crests for $5 is the main selling point for me. So I think that's it for this video. I think that's all I really wanted to cover. And if you're still with me, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And remember to hit the like and subscribe for more content. And I will see you in the next video.